I've landscaped most of our woodlands here before I planted them for a number of reasons. One is, you can see here all of the land in this woods is sloping down towards the pond, so it catches all the rainwater for the pond, so that's like drainage is one. And then from down below the pond, it all goes into this like big drainage valley which sort of goes down the whole north side of the land, but it kind of wiggles so it slows down the water and everything, and that's like the further down it goes the wider and bigger it gets. So it's like a sort of woodland drainage valley thing which is all being landscaped as well, so that's like drainage. So another one is like aesthetics, walking around it. If this is only like a 10-foot wide woods on a gentle slope, there's no way I can have like 2 footpaths really. So having this bit raised up and this bit cut down to 6 inches above full water, that means I've got 2 levels. So with this little wiggly windy path, which is just a mud path actually, this one, it's all made with pond slop years ago. So up here, these 2 paths then run parallel for a while before they kind of divide off a bit, but having one like 5 feet high above the other one, it means I've squeezed 2 paths into a tiny woodland, which there's no way I could have done if I hadn't landscaped it. And of course, another reason for doing this is it creates different habitats. If this was just the shape it was, just a bit of land and then a hedge, it would have had quite a lot of plants that would have lived here, but having different levels and different bits facing different directions, you've got different plants that would like the different conditions. You've got lower bits, I've got swampy bits and high dry bits. I've got bits that don't get any sunlight at all, like north facing bits. So different plants like all these different conditions, so it creates more habitat and of course more surface area. Having all these like raised bits and bumps and banks and mounds and things, it all creates more surface area. So what I want to do today is just look around at different landscaped features in the woods that I've made to enhance these characteristics to get drainage, habitats and things like that. I'll start with something simple here. This was just put here before the pond. It was just like, I think the ground level was about there, and I just built this little bit up. It's like with some turfs and some soil, and then I've cut the pond around it. So here again you've got this bit going up to the other level, so that creates all this different habitat for all these wild strawberries here and the primroses, and there's bugles and all sorts of growing in there. And then here, this little bit here creates a separation, making a little raised bit, a little headland bit here, which has got all sorts of plants and things growing on it as well. And there's like a bigger version of it here. Again, this one was cut out, built before the pond was put here. And that one sticks out a bit more. And there's a little bank there, just a little bank, so that when this path here goes around here, then there's a bank there, so you kind of you feel just for a section there you're sort of a bit separated from the pond, and it means when you're in this bit you're like in an own little little micro valley here. When the pond is full, this bit is like shallow water here, which goes right up to here. You can see all the bit that's all leaves, isn't anything really growing, that's all the bit that's covered in water normally. So it's sort of, even with the curve of this coming out here, it sort of all makes it just seem like a little valley, and you feel like you're in a little isolated little place here. But this is the narrowest bit of the woods totally. This bit is only like 8 feet wide, and here you've got the higher path up there and the lower path up there, but then this path then branches off and goes off into the corner there and appears to go much further away, but it doesn't go that much further away. And then this bit sort of snakes around the edge of the pond. And this like big narrow headland sticking out into the pond there's no way you can kind of get in there really. It's very narrow, very steep, so it's like a good refuge for loads of plants and wildlife there. And I've got a little gap where you can get to the pond, and then another little bank here. And then up here you can see the other path sort of going around, lots of little bends and things. And then if you just look in that little dip there that's all full of brambles, that's like a big, like a deep bit with a shallow pond in the bottom. It just means that the other path has to go right around the edge in a wiggly way to make the the woodland path longer and make the woodland seem bigger. So we have a nice little section going along the pond edge there before another bank just blocks off the path from the edge of the pond, and that means you've got another bit of pond edge where you can't get to, where wildlife will be undisturbed. And then up there on all this bit which we put here is where the top path goes, like up right up there, so it's even higher above this path when it's up there. It's like there's a very steep bank going up here, and then this little path here goes through this bank here. So for this little section here, you don't really, you can see the water through there a bit, but you don't really feel like you're going around a pond edge right on this bit. And all this section has like a higher bit going down to the water, which is like totally undisturbed by anyone. I'm not sure how well you can see this bit, but just up there is a really big woodland mound that sort of sits on the edge bit. Just cut this bit of footpath here, and you see here there's like a little path going up to it here. So just clear away some of this undergrowth. This little path here is a dead end path. It just zigzags up here. This took us ages to build. It's all just built out of like buckets and wheelbarrows of subsoil with then turfs and topsoil on the outer layers. And this is like the outer hedge here. It just backs onto this and raises it quite a bit as well. And trees here are all really quite big. It was done ages ago. And then this path here, it zigzags around here a bit more, comes right round there and zigzags up here. It's cut undergrowth back as I go. And then right up here, at the very, very top, which you can see from there, there's two little granite steps there. Was it three? Three little granite steps. And then this bit here, by this really big oak tree here, which is in the hedge, is the very, very top bit. And this time of year you can't see much, but in the winter you can see right over the whole land from it. It's like got this big panoramic view, and it is the highest point on the whole land, just by a few feet. But it's just this, there's 12 feet long, 5 feet wide platform right on the top there, and if a zigzag back down again, then there's quite a big feature, and it's just a dead end. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's a nice place to go and sit. But it's also creates a hell of a lot of different bits and a lot of different environments, and it divides the woods in half. Here it is from the front. You can see right up there the big oak tree there, that sort of one on the bank there. So it means that you have to walk right out onto this headland to get into the other side of the woods over there. So it like divides the woods in half, and also it's so high you can't see over it. So even when there's no leaves on the trees on the leaves, you can't see what's over there. And I don't know how he's got onto the island. How did you get there? How did you get there, Darius? If he's got there himself, he doesn't need to be rescued. So this huge great mound here, it continues all along up there, but of course that is the platform up there where the oak is, just above there, so that's the highest bit of it there. Let's cut some of these brambles off here. Reopen this footpath. Quite a lot of brambles. It's quite a new wood. Some of it's newer than other bits. This is a newer bit, so the brambles are still quite a problem here. But as the canopy takes hold, then it becomes less of a problem. See here, this little bit here, this path was cut down around it. The original surface area was a bit higher. It was about here, so it was cut down a bit. And then this has been sort of dug down further and cut right down, and I've made this bendy path which I've had to slope so it doesn't get waterlogged. So this bit slopes that way and then the other side slopes this way, but it means that you've got this extra wiggle where the path has to go round, makes it kind of longer. All the water still goes where it needs to go, but it also creates more surface area, bigger space, and you've got this little raised bit here which nobody ever goes onto, so it's a nice refuge for wildlife. And some nice wild strawberries here. Yeah, that's nice. They're so nice. And hey Darius. and this little bank sort of finishes here. And of course this bank also diverts the path away from the pond, so you've got another big bit where you've got no access to the edge of the pond on this side, apart from this little bit. So right here, I think the pond's low enough to go in here. It's very shallow, this bit. So yeah, that's okay. So this little bit here is when the water's full, it comes to here. So you've got a little bit where you can come and sit on the water's edge, or a good way out of the pond if you're wading up the pond. And then all along this side is really steep. And that brings me to this bit here, which is the gorge. On this side of the pond, the original surface area of the land was higher, maybe about here or something. So this has been cut down further. And so I decided to make this into like a little shallow tributary with very steep sides. And it sort of makes more of the illusion that you're in some distant wooded valley and you're in the middle of nowhere. But in actual fact, just up the top of there is a hedge and the road, and then just over the other side of up there is the edge where I've got my little road going down. So here it's all nice and shallow, very steep sides up both sides, and on both sides I've raised up the height of the banks to make it even higher, and you've got this like all cut in a 45 degrees straight down into the subsoil, and then just a thin coating of topsoil on top. So it's not so steep that it collapses, but it's just steep enough so you can't climb up it, or it's difficult to climb up it. And then it's all planted with trees that are like happy with those conditions. And here, there is no path on this side along the pond. It's right up there. So I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, this whole bit, it's all like taking the drainage from the land, so a lot of it comes in here. So it's a nice little kind of drainage channel. And it's a really nice place to come when it's a really windy day, because it's very seldom windy in here. And then this little valley structure continues outside of the pond, but it's like a drainage channel for the rainwater with very steep sides, cut into like little micro valleys, all making sure that this whole bit up there is really well drained, because I don't want it to become waterlogged up there. Another little micro valley just going up there into the woods. And then this side, it sort of gives the impression that it's like it's going to go up for ages as woodland, but it doesn't. It's just that hedge is the edge of it there. And this is from the other side, so all of that is in here. And here it is from the other side, so the other side of that hedge, you've got the high woodland path, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you've got all the gorge in there, then it just is all by the hedge there. That big oak tree there is the oak tree on that really, really big mound. This is the high bit of path on the other side of the hedge by the road. So the road is behind this, and this hedge that was on the edge, I've made it a lot higher, and I've made it a lot wider as well. And on this side, it's more of a slope, so it's like a kind of woodland sloping kind of. It's very steep still, but it's a slope, so it makes you sort of think you're in like a sloping woodland rather than right next to a road. And it's quite a quiet road, so you don't really hear the traffic very often. It's only when the traffic's there you really notice it's a road. So trim that a little bit, it's a bit overgrown. And then this little bit here is like a little moundy bit, and it just means that you can't walk. This mound extends to the edge of the gorge, so it makes the gorge look bigger. And it also means that this path has to be diverted right into the corner, which makes it longer. And then here, we've got a nice little ledge bit. It's a bit overgrown. I just cut back these field maples a little bit and get in there. And that one. And then here there's like a little ledge that's just the other side of the bank, which is very overgrown with little oak trees I want to rescue and put somewhere else when it's a dormant season. And then right out here on the edge, you get a really nice little view over that top channel of the pond. It's a really nice little vantage point, but you can just see the larger bit of the pond in the distance through the trees. And all this bit here, between the gorge and the path, is all very, very steeply sloping, little network of little valleys and things going down to the edge of the top of the gorge. So you've got quite a wide bit of woods here, really, but a lot of it's this very steep, inaccessible bit which you can't really get to. Hedge banks make really good definite boundaries to woodland as well, so I like to put these around the edge so that I don't encroach into the woods, and the wood doesn't encroach into what I'm doing. So like a little bit here and there. So that's where the woods start there. That's the entirety of the gorge area. You can see how kind of narrow it is. It's just a little slot there. And then there is the big mound there with a big oak tree on top of it up there. And the windy path going around the back of the island there. And they got the island. And if you look over there, you can see the different little headlands and inlets and how that makes the coast really wiggly and makes everything seem bigger. This little bit here is a bit newer, and this was actually made from the soil, the subsoil, when we were digging out the gorge area. So we brought it in wheelbarrows all here and through here. This wasn't here then, and then just dumped it here, and then gradually as we dumped the soil, this whole bit grew along here. This is making a ridge boundary with a hedge on this side, making a watershed, so that all the water here goes into this valley here, and it's like the drainage valley. It replaces the straight ditch system which was here originally, and it makes a nice windy valley that goes from pond to pond. And then gradually, as we've cut out this hill has grown, but of course we ran out of the soil for that, so when I start digging another project I'm going to finish it, but I've got so much of it finished. Brambles need to be, and this tree needs to be pruned. And that's better. This oak tree is doing really, really well, but I don't want it going over the footpath here. Right, here we are. And footpath reopened, and maybe a bit more. And some of these brambles here, but off there. Right, so you can see it's come around this far, and the further up we go, the newer it is. You see the hedge here isn't as new, it's much newer, I mean. And then we got as far as here. So one day, this is going to continue down as far as the hedge down there. On all this bit of ground here is planned to be the woodland ridge continuing, and that just creates a defining boundary between the orchard with all the water sloping that way towards that pond, and then this drainage valley for the land. And down here, of course, this bit is the actual valley part. This lime tree is growing really, really well. There's a little bit of a trim because everything's sort of growing and it's starting to weigh down a bit. So just trim these off so I can get down here. Alright, and there's that bit as well. And there's brambles, right. So here, just through there, is the drainage coming from the top pond. So this little bit here slopes down from the ridge, which is a path, and this creates another path which comes down into the actual valley itself. And this is quite, I don't know how old it is, 3 years or something, 4 years. These are the trees here. I think they're about 4 years or something like that. I do lose track of how long ago I planted them. There's a silver birch there. Loads of blackthorn. Just trim that off. And that one. Right. So here it's very steep. As the land naturally gets lower, and as this ridge path naturally gets higher, it gets more and more steep. So this is the forgot about that bit. This bit's the steepest bit, and then the ridge will be at this highest point there, and the bit we'll want to build will get gradually lower. So it will go about parallel with the slope of the land. But roughly here was the original land height here, and there is a section of the straight ditch, the original straight ditch. And here I'm going to build this up, have a footpath branching off from that footpath, coming up to here and going along high, and another footpath, the drainage will come here rather than here, and another footpath will come alongside the drainage channel, which sort of bends and meanders. And here you can see this bit's only half built. Here the original ditch used to go along the side here, just this straight ditch, and the land was sort of like this shape facing towards the ditch. It was a bit kind of weird and boggy. So what I did was I changed the drainage channel so it goes that way, put some soil here, so we've got a nice sort of slope here, another footpath coming here, and a whole kind of like general valley shape coming into it. This bit of the valley isn't so steep. If you look over there, you can just see there's the road going down and then the other side of the valley over there. And here they've got the sort of steep valley side of the drainage valley. It's all nice and established. This is the actual original surface area, this bottom bit here, and it's like a nice wide flat bit, and then various spoils from ponds has gone here to make the valley sides. So it's a totally different little steep little valley, which is quite nice to have, because woods are nice shady places anyway, but having them kind of deep and shady makes them more humid, and that's good. And it sort of bends. It's also wide bottom, so water that comes over from the overflow from the ponds is spread over a wide area, meandering slowly through the land. So it takes longer to travel through the land. So by kind of landscaping it into nice shapes, I'm able to retain more water that falls onto the land. And here's like a newer bit. I'm always adding newer bits. And you've got like a bank here, a woodland bank dividing one footpath going that way, and then one footpath going that way, and another footpath which will go on the top there. It's very new, bits of it still need doing, but so I'm always building new bits to the woods. But again, this one is maybe 15 feet wide or something, and I've here hopefully managed to split it into 3 different footpaths at different levels. So this bank hides the 2 footpaths there, and then this one here is quite high and steep, so it sort of separates you from that footpath there. So hopefully that will work really well. So anyway, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you press the little bell, which is somewhere down there, you can see all my other videos. And if you have any questions, please ask, and I shall see you next time.